What is going on, Jet fans? I am Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to talk about a few things that both Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers said at their press conference in London. The New York Jets are taking on the Minnesota Vikings this weekend overseas in London. Looking forward to that one. And we got Aaron Rodgers clearing the air with Robert Saleh. We got some updates on Davante Adams, but I want to start with what I think is the big storyline from these press conferences, because at the end of the game on Sunday, Robert Saleh had some comments about the hard count, and Aaron Rodgers pushed back on it a little bit, saying that's one way to go about it. We could also hold guys accountable. Aaron Rodgers spoke today, and it very much so feels like him and Robert Saleh are absolutely fine.
Well, I think, he felt like, there wasn't, his answer maybe didn't actually reflect his feelings. Cadence has been a weapon. I think he kind of went in and got a chance Monday to kind of respond to all that. But no, I think there's some driving force to try and put a wedge outside the facility between Robert and I. But we're really good friends. We enjoy each other. We spend time almost every day. I'm in his office talking about things and talking about the energy of the team, the focus of the team, what we need to get done, how I can help him out, how he can help me out. So we've got a great relationship.
Genuinely, I was really glad that they cleared the air. I did not like Robert Saleh's answer at all. Again, like I commented on it on Monday, but essentially it felt like Robert Saleh was like, no, we got to make Aaron Rodgers change for us. And look, I get it. Some people are very critical of the power that Aaron Rodgers holds. And I understand that when one player has so much power, like it's not always the greatest thing, but like look at their resumes. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer and leads the NFL in NFL history as the most touchdowns off of free plays because of his hard count, because of how aggressive he is at the line of scrimmage. Yes, the Jets just had an awful day on Sunday with pre-snap penalties, but I don't think they should change based off that one game when this is something they've been doing. Going back to OTAs, which Aaron Rodgers was there for OTAs, and they practiced this then. They did it all training camp, and in all the first 3 games of the year. So this is something that they're used to. It's not like Aaron Rodgers out of the blue just decided, you know what, I'm going to start going with a hard count. He's done this his entire career. The team needs to get up to the standard of Rodgers. That's part of the problem, is the standard has been so low from this team for so long, and they just played so poorly, that I'm glad someone like Aaron Rodgers come in who has won a Super Bowl, who is going to the Hall of Fame and has had so much success in the NFL. And it's like, no, guys, like this is how we do things. I don't think he should be going to be like, yeah, you know what, we're going to fold up shop. Robert Saleh doesn't like the hard count because we jumped a few times and now we're going to change up everything. No, I don't think that should be the case. So I'm glad that everything's fine. And I'm also glad that the Rodgers and Saleh relationship is fine. A big reason for Rodgers coming here was also Robert Saleh, which some people, like to gloss over and forget. We could still be critical of Robert Saleh. I don't think he's been great. But in this instance, I do like that their relationship seems to be fine. Guys, stop dipping. If you are looking to quit dipping and need some help, do what I did and use Lofi, the best nicotine pouches on the market. Playing baseball growing up, I picked up the nasty habit, and products like Lofi helped me stop. My 2 favorite flavors are the wintergreen and the mint. Usually when I feel a midday slump coming on is when I like to toss one in, the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock feeling. Some people like to go for a coffee. Some people like to go for a Diet Coke. Me, I usually find myself reaching for my Lofi. So let's level up your nicotine routine with Lofi. Go to lofi.co/O'Leary and use promo code O'Leary to get 20% off your first order. Lofi offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Here comes the fine print. Lofi products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. So one of the big stories, you can't even look away from it. Aaron Rodgers has some comments on Davante Adams. Of course, he was asked about it. Davante Adams this week requests a trade. The Jets are listed as the most likely team to land him. And here's what he had to say on his former teammate.
I don't know how much I can say about it. There's tampering. But I still have a close friendship with him. We spend time in the offseason together. He's a great guy and a great player, and the rest of that's out of my hands.
Clearly still loves Davante. How could you not? He's one of the best wide receivers in the league still, even at his age. I think this is something that gets done, and I do think it's a positive for this team. Not only the team, but Garrett Wilson included. No, Garrett Wilson's not getting traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. No, this doesn't mean the Jets are giving up on Garrett Wilson. This is only making the offense better, which I've stated, unfortunately, it showed in week 4 that yes, play calling and coaching can hold this team back, and adding another piece like a Davante only makes it better. I'm not saying that, it's going to be 20 targets a game for Davante Adams and 2 to Garrett Wilson. That's not going to be the case. We've seen Aaron Rodgers talk up Garrett Wilson and compare him to Davante Adams. I don't think it's Aaron Rodgers saying, I can't work with this guy. I got to get Davante in here. Some have interpreted that way. I haven't. To me, this isn't good enough right now. We have to improve and get better. And who better for Garrett Wilson to learn from than someone like Davante Adams, one of the league's best route runners over the last decade, one of the league's best wide receivers over this last decade. And we sure as hell know that Davante Adams has been on the same page with Aaron Rodgers many, many times in his career. So who better to teach Garrett that than Davante? I think it's a win-win, honestly. Aaron Rodgers spoke as well on his message to the UK Jets fans. Here's what he had to say.
Well, I think that you have to understand the Jet fan in America and what they've gone through the last 13 years and really the last 55 years of not winning a Super Bowl. So I think sports fans in general can get behind an underdog or a team that hasn't had the success they've wanted to in a while. So I welcome any and all bandwagon fans to jump on the underdog train of the New York Jets and try and bring some positivity to our fans who've dealt with a lot.
I love that Aaron Rodgers gets it. From his opening press conference, he was, going through and talking about how he watched the Super Bowl III tapes of, Joe Namath. He didn't take number 12 because of the respect that he has for Joe Namath. And I think he's done a really good job in the 2 years he's been here, realizing what Jet fans have been through. He knows the Jets' history and yeah, it's really little stuff, but to me that matters, and it matters to the fans as well because again, someone could just come in, someone like Aaron Rodgers, who's been in the league forever, played for a historic franchise in the Green Bay Packers. He could just go, yeah, I just wanted to keep playing, and I'm going to go to the Jets or whatever, and I'm not going to put in much effort. I feel like Rodgers, for anything, any flaw you want to point out about Aaron Rodgers, that's fine, but don't tell me that he's not here and he's not trying to, embrace what it is to be a New York Jet. I think he realizes what it would mean to this franchise and this city if the New York Jets were to win and were to be successful. It's been a long time since the Jets had any sort of success, longest active playoff drought in all the 4 major North American sports. And for the UK Jet fans, there's a lot of them. I have, you'd be surprised. You'd think for me, it's a lot of New Jersey and New York people, which is true. Most of my audience is from New York and New Jersey. But there's a lot of people over in the UK who are really, really big Jet fans. And I'm glad that they're going to be able to see the team this week. And I hope the Jets give them a good performance. One of the things that Robert Saleh spoke about today was the pressure built in New York.
Pressure in New York? You can be an expansion team and still have the same amount of pressure. It doesn't matter. You got to win. It's New York. Expectation is to win. When you win, you're going to the Super Bowl. When you lose, fire everybody. And that's the world we live in. That's the world we embrace. We attack each week as a new week, which every week comes with the extremist amount of pressure. But we're made for it. We're built for it.
So obviously a very lighthearted answer from our guy Robert Saleh, but I do agree some of it does get overblown with the seesaw of the year. You do well, it's expectations go sky high, you do poorly, and it's fire everyone. And I agree that there are some extremes, and we probably have to be a little bit more measured. But I will say, this is year 4 for Robert Saleh. So any criticism that Robert Saleh is getting this year, I think is more than justified. Again, I spoke about it in my post-game video from this week. On Monday's video, I did a specific Robert Saleh segment and wanted to talk about my feelings on the head coach. And I've been very critical of him, but something I wanted to do was give him the opportunity to coach with the team, with this team. And yeah, like I got some pushback on it saying like, oh, it was one bad game. What about the Baltimore Ravens losing to the Raiders and stuff like that? And unfortunately, the Jets don't get the benefit of the doubt here because they've been so bad for so long. For a team like Baltimore, John Harbaugh is one of the better coaches in the NFL, number one. Number two, they're in the playoffs every single year or relevant every single year. They're a model franchise over the last, almost 30 years probably. So again, it's a little bit tough to make that comparison when you're the Ravens, the Steelers, the Chiefs. Like think of these teams who are just always in the mix and always relevant. They get the benefit of the doubt, but when you've proven that you're you're inconsistent and you haven't won anything and you haven't made the playoffs in so long, unfortunately, you don't get the benefit of the doubt until you prove that you can do it. This is a very, very talented football team. I'm not saying that they're not. Something I've said pretty much all week too is they are talented enough to beat any team in the NFL, but they are poorly coached enough where they could lose just about any game in the NFL, which is one, really frustrating. But number two, like it's going to be a roller coaster of a season. So while I agree, like I'm not bailing on the Jets for this year. I'm not saying the season's over or anything like that. Hell, they're still in a playoff spot right now, but I think the frustration from Jet fans is justified with all of that context. So there you go. Those are the biggest storylines of the day. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.